Hello YouTube, FilmBuff06 here. Now I want to start off with a quick congratulations to Owen Salmons for joining James Wilson and Matthew Rowney from Who Addicts Reviews. You deserve it, mate. Congratulations. Now, this is a response to a request from Matthew Rowney of Who Addicts Reviews, who wanted me to do a rant, just a rant, on a person that I hate more than I hate more than any other, that I hate more than even Stephen Moffat, and that's film director Michael Bay. I hope Matthew, you enjoy my rant. Now, I genuinely hate Michael Bay with a burning passion, and here's why. Because the way I see it, the guy is like the Adolf Hitler or Julius Caesar or even Caligula of all Uber hacks working in Hollywood today. You know, he spends hundreds of millions of dollars on absolute garbage movies. If you look at his almost quite crappy resume, you get expensive turds like Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, The Island, the Transformers movies, his most recent release, Pain and Gain, etc. But do you know what is most depressing about all this? Now, even though the only two, in my opinion, decent Michael Bay movies are the first Bad Boys movie and The Rock, and despite the fact that the rest of his resume are filled with nothing but overlong, overrated, just plain unwatchable piles of shite. They take staggering amounts of money because they seem to appeal to people who have no intelligence whatsoever and couldn't be bothered to actually give a shit and watch anything that is at least half decent. Now, I don't want to talk about all of Michael Bay's films in depth, but I do want to talk about just two particular movies that the guy's made that I am planning to use as primary examples of why you, me, and the rest of the world for that matter hate this guy. Now, example number one is going to be 2001's Pearl Harbor. Now, what you have here is a movie initially designed to cash in on the extraordinary success of James Cameron's Titanic, and it's just a blatant attempt to emulate what made Titanic work. You know, a cheesy love story, historical inaccuracies and plot holes the size of craters you'd find on the moon. A cliched love triangle that goes absolutely nowhere and for no apparent reason. And even worse, an extraordinarily huge budget. Now, I remember watching this movie for the first time when it was on DVD, and I really did not know what to think of it. As I mentioned before in a previous video, I am a big fan of history as well as movies. And even now, to see all the countless, historical inaccuracies and Hollywoodized bullshit that abounds in this film is insulting, quite sickening to anyone's intelligence, and actually makes Braveheart feel Shakespearean in comparison. The film is badly written, horrendously directed, horribly acted, lazily edited, miserable, crass, retrograde, depressing, drivelsomely boorish, cynical, narcissistic, so historically inaccurate, it's just fucking ridiculous, and just plain awful. The movie sucks, period, slash, fact. The second example is of course going to be the Transformers movie franchise. Now personally I'm not really a fan of the whole Transformers thing myself, and I've seen all three movies but I have seen all three movies in the franchise, and it's just one of the worst, without a doubt, one of the worst movie trilogies that I've ever seen in my life, only next to the Star Wars prequels. Now, I'm not a big fan of, Shia LaBeouf's work. I actually liked him in Disturbia, but here, this is a role he can only play in his sleep, to be honest. I personally don't think that Megan Fox is as attractive as most people make her out to be. Personally, for me, she is just too boring, and she has only got one emotion on her face, that of smugness, like this. And the conceit of Michael Bay leering at her arse with a film camera is enough to make you think, well, if Michael Bay was not one of the most successful directors in the world with millions of dollars at his disposal, he should be directing porn. What I mean is, Bay is a pornographic filmmaker in his sensibility. It doesn't matter whether he's looking at random people running around, or cars whizzing around, or gratuitous explosions that happen for no logical reason. His entire project is just like, look at the curves on Megan Fox's ass, war, robots, war, explosions, war, etc. But even when he is making a film that is A, based on a children's toy, and therefore B, supposed to be aimed at kids, I am absolutely certain, though, that Mr. Bay hasn't been anywhere near any illegal substance or drug of any description. And that's me being sarcastic. However, the aesthetic sensibility of all of his movies resembles that of someone who has just ingested half a ton of weapons-grade plutonium and is working under its influence, constantly working under its influence, without any control or even care. Now, even worse, only a year after Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon came out in 2011, he publicly announced in a Comic-Con convention that he was going to cinematically rape another set of iconic childhood characters, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, half heroes in a nutshell, by making them into aliens from outer space. What? No, I mean, I know that the origin story was something to do with some toxic waste that had an intergalactic, ooze that turned the turtles into the talking, karate chopping aliens that we know and love today. But to make them aliens, you're just being fucking ridiculous, Mr. Michael Bay, and I hope the film tanks, really. I really do hope the film tanks. And plus, to add more insult to injury, he decides to cast Megan Fox as April O'Neil. What? Seriously? You are casting the same no talent woman, the no talent actress who publicly likened you to Hitler on the set of Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, the publicity stunt that got you fired, and you're now casting her back, and you're now calling her back to play April O'Neil? What the fuck are you doing, Mr. Bay? What the fuck are you doing, Bay? Now, look, what this guy is doing to the Turtles is, you know, pretty much what Stephen fucking Moffat is doing with Doctor Who at the moment. You know, just ruining it for us and insulting our intelligence without even a care. Plus, you know, Bay denied apologising, you know, for everything he put into Armageddon as a response to a news article that claimed that Bay was apologising for everything he put into the film, but no, he says he likes this film as it is. You know, that's predictable, you know, that's predictable to me. That's predictability to me, you know. What I mean is, this just goes to show that this is a man who clearly does not give a fuck about what most of his critics, whether professional or otherwise, think of his movies. And he's giving the juvenile middle finger like that to those critics with this hugely childish ego and contempt that he has, in this pathetic hope that those critics will bow down and grovel to whatever shit he comes up with out of his hugely talentless head, because he knows he's churning out all this hideous stuff just because he's gonna make some hardcore money, and he knows he can get away with it. That it is a depressing indictment, and he relishes it. Guys, Michael Bay needs to be either A, kicked out of Hollywood, or B, even assassinated by someone, because he definitely does not deserve to be making any more of these stupid, dumb, unintelligent movies that take up money and make even the most intelligent, you know, film goers, professional critics, or YouTube critics, you know, online critics, feel like absolute idiots for torturing ourselves with all this garbage we all have to sit through. But seriously, if you are a real fan of the guy's work, if you're either drunk, stoned, mentally decrepit, or anywhere lacking any real intelligence whatsoever, you're going to enjoy the hell out of you will enjoy the hell out of any piece of crap this guy makes. I'd sarcastically guarantee it. Otherwise, just avoid like the plague. And Bay, if you're watching this video right now, I say to you just two simple words. Fuck you. Fuck you in the ass. That's my rant finished. Got that out of my chest. Thank you so very much, Matthew Rowney, and thank you very much, Matthew Rowney. I wanted to get this off my chest for a very long time, and I hope you were entertained by this. as I know you will, be. Feel free to comment below and let me know let me know your personal opinions on this overrated walking piece of human shit guy. Plus, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and until my next video, whatever it may be, please take care everyone. Good night. Adios.